I just want to say this episode is a great one. You should definitely check us out, watch the whole thing for how we go into depth of what is really health and are you that healthy?
Yeah, it's such a pleasure to have you here today, my man.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me.
We've had some extensive conversations in the
Sure.
background behind the scenes, and your philosophy on performance and mindset and just in general fitness, and you call it whatever you want. Your philosophy deeply aligns with the way I work with my clients,
Blessings.
and I'd really like to pick your brain more on some of the things that you discuss, especially you calling yourself a vitality advisor. I mean, tell me more about that. What does that mean? And you could even introduce yourself. Go ahead, man.
I appreciate it, Doctor. So my name is Yaw Owusu Jr. Emphasis on the junior. That means we have a mission in life, like everyone does. But when you say vitality advisor, what is vitality? So just look at vitality as optimized well-being.
Right.
So the wellness industry has longevity, but you can live a long time
Right.
and not be well, right? So I'm looking at vitality as an optimized version of wellness. So an advisor, I just advise people on that, and I do it in a natural way. So I'm a natural healer, I would say, and my title, I go as the vitality advisor. But that stems from looking at the wellness industry and saying, what is the optimized version of that? What is the thriving? Because we very so often talk about surviving or baseline. So that's what drives me into thinking about a new industry, the vitality industry. That's already been there, but who's going to shape us to the optimized aspect of wellness? And I believe that vitality is that shaper, and I'm an advisor of that.
I love the word vitality, and I think that has to come from somewhere. Where did you come across that word vitality? And I mean, it's not something that you hear too often, especially in the fitness and wellness industry.
Sure. In Los Angeles, I was there for about a decade, and I would always see in vitamin shops or nutritional shops or these holistic natural shops the word vitality.
Right.
And I said, okay, let me look this up. What does this mean? Coming from the Greek origin of vital, right? But it's not your vitals, like the medical industry would say, 120 or 80 your blood pressure. It's having the energy to thrive, not merely survive, have strength to produce
Right.
throughout the universe. That's what vitality is. So to me, I said, okay, that sounds like something that is optimized or maximized. So I came up with or developed this definition of vitality. And the industry, I know it's out there, but it needs to have a light shine because we need to talk about optimization. And that's what's really going to take us forward in a world that is uncertain. If you can move inward and optimize yourself, whatever strife or discernment you would need to drive yourself, vitality is going to be the way.
I love that. And that reminds me, back when I was 18 years old, that's when I started out as a personal trainer. And, at that point, I thought that I can conquer the world. I
Yes, sir.
had all the tools that I
Yes,
had
sir.
thought where if I could just get somebody stronger, I could solve all their problems. And then I quickly realized I actually didn't have all the tools to help somebody with recovering from an injury or if they're dealing with pain. And obviously, that's what took me to physical therapy school. And then I got into PT school. I came out as an entry level physical therapist, and I realized again, I thought that I can help somebody deal with their pain and their injury, but it wasn't just about the physical realm. There was so much more happening. There was the nutrition component, the sleep, the stress, and that's what kind of led me down the journey of the mind body approach. Now, I'm just curious, what's share your story about your journey and how you kind of came to this point of vitality.
I think in my life, it's been a journey of overcoming obstacles that have been imposed by me, by the medical industry, saying I have S curve scoliosis, by me having terrible skin disorders, by me having headaches, migraines since the age of 6. So I've always believed that I had to overcome something to be something better. So that's always been driving me. So I've excelled in sports. I've played collegiate sports. I've tried out for NFL teams. I've ran with guys that are running the Olympics. So I've done great things with my body, but I realized that the human being comes in 3 dimensions: the human, physical, biological body,
Yeah.
the mind that is aware of the body, and the spirit, or what people will call the soul, that is actually the being that is projecting this mind and body. People will call it mind, body, soul. So when we talk about mind, body, and soul, or spirit, same thing, vitality is going to serve the entire human being. PT, physical training, nutrition. There is a system that encompasses all, in my opinion, professional, and we call it the vitality training systems. And it's just a system of 5 different pillars that everyone does believe, mindset being the first. We can all believe that this is a mental thing we're in. It's all a mental projection. Our sleep. Everyone believes that sleep is good. Maybe you don't do too much of it, but you believe that sleep is good.
Right.
Nutrition. We must need nourishment, whether it's I'm not going to eat, I'm just going to nourish by the sun. You need nourishment somehow. Sleep moves into now recovery. So when you talk about recovery, it's unlike sleep. Think about rejuvenation in the conscious realm, being awake and alive and rejuvenating yourself, like an active recovery. And the last, where most people believe, is just exercise. It's just movement. So those 5 pillars of mindset, sleep, nutrition, recovery, and exercise, I believe is what will optimize, it's a formula, your vitality. So that's really the belief and the philosophy that drives me. And I came to this just by saying, what is a human being? And what are we here to do? Just to express. If we can have an optimized lifestyle through that expression, we can create whatever we want.
I love that you mentioned all those pillars. And, I've got to say, I think for the layman, they probably sound, there's a rationale behind the pillars and it makes sense. But the disparity here is, why isn't that something that's mainstream? Why does it take someone like yourself, right, to come up with this understanding and the foundation of what vitality is and the pillars that you've described? But why aren't we seeing that more often?
I think out of the box thinking has to be what we need to do now to get us out of the box. So if you like how society is, if you like how your community is, if you like how you're eating and what was being fed to us, whether nutrition, whether through our minds or a television program, if you like it, if you like the wars and the strife, if you like it, then you have to think in the box to fix this problem. And if you want to say that we have a problem, which many people do, it's just life.
Right.
Wars is just life, but people think it's a problem. If we want to fix this, it needs to be outside of the box thinking. So we can't say that someone is going to heal us. We have to heal ourselves.
Right.
But most people go to doctors and surgeons. I love doctors. My wife she's a surgeon, wonderful surgeon.
Shout out.
Shout out, Dr. Jadida. Okay. But that's not going to heal us. We see the results right now.
Right.
So we have to take an out-of-the-box approach to now solving for what's in the box, which is healing thyself, know thyself. All esoteric knowledge says this. So that's the approach. I think many of us are out there, and I'm calling to all the people that believe this way and want to join the community. This is the calling out. This is the awakening, in my opinion. So yeah, I think that's what I'm here to do.
It just kind of makes me think about something interesting. When someone is coming in to see me for treatment as a licensed physical therapist, before we can even solve a problem, and there's a lot of tools in our toolbox. First, we have to identify what is the problem. And oftentimes the problem isn't what we thought it was when we first came in to see an expert. And that also means that there's a level of open-mindedness on both the client side to coming in and being receptive to that information. And sometimes they don't always hear, they're not always told what they want to hear, right? So then there's that disparity. And sometimes you're, as an expert, challenged with, but wait, that's not what I came here for, or that's not what I wanted to fix. Why are you telling me about a problem that I never had, right? And how do you approach that? How do you deal with that?
That's a great question. The one thing I've learned over the years is to make people aware. So my mission, my professional and personal mission, is global awareness. First, me being aware of who I am, all 11 systems that run me biologically, right? If you bring a mirror up to individuals, they're going to be aware. So I have a vitality awareness questionnaire that I give to my clientele. And it's a lengthy questionnaire, right? You can take a quiz, a short version, 3 minutes, but this is a 30-minute one.
Yeah.
But if you really want to go through transformation, 30 minutes should not be an issue. And if I put it to them that way, then they will be aware of how their mind is, how their body is, how they sleep,
Yeah.
how they rejuvenate, or what they don't do. So when we say this is what you need, it's not always what you want. If you want to become something, you have to apply what you need first.
Right.
And if you don't know what you need, which most people are not aware, this is where the problem comes. So having some type of data collection or consultation, I believe, is very important to make them aware of what they actually need.
It also sounds, as amazing as all that sounds, it does require the person that's coming in to see you for them to have to buy in
Oh, yeah.
to everything that you're presenting to
Oh,
them.
yeah.
You know, you can present all the answers to somebody, but if they don't really want to help themselves in the framework that you're presenting it with, then that doesn't become an ideal candidate for the work that you do. Now, oftentimes, I mean, we do live in a very in a society that's based on convenience. You know, how can I get so and so result as fast as possible? So when someone's coming in with all these goals and aspirations, and then you're presenting them with the questionnaire, sometimes, and I can imagine they'd say like, Why do I have to fill out this questionnaire? Or why do I have to spend so much time doing all this? Why can't we just get to work?"
I love it. And I just try and humanize it as much as possible. So I understand your concern, but anything in your life, from what you do, from your education, from how you excelled in your life, because we're dealing with premium services. For the most part, you and I in this industry, they're premium services. Now, you
Yeah.
might be able to have stipends or insurance in your aspect of medical, but for me, it's premium services. So these are premium services individuals. I just want to state that first. Okay. So any premium service that you go through, you want it to be as personalized as possible. You want this, or do you want a cookie cutter? Do you want me to give you the same treatment or the same program that I give to every single person? Or do you
Yeah.
want it to be specifically for you? Now, to get to that specificity, I'm going to need data. So if you give me 30 minutes of your time, we're actually going to understand what you need. We'll be able to apply that and we'll get what you want at a more effective rate, which if you're concerned about money or if you're concerned about time, which most people are, or
Yeah.
energy, you're going to give less time, money, and energy to me and to us if we get all the information right, firstly. And any professional that comes to you that doesn't want to get exactly what you want, need, and desire, you have to question, is this a premium service? I was under the impression that you want premium services and you want results. So we need to find out exactly what you need to get those results as quickly or as effectively as possible. And most likely, they're going to say, all right, some will say no, no problem. This isn't the service for you. This is for individuals that want true transformation effectively and results.
You know, you could call me obsessive, but when I got out of physical therapy school, I made it a thing to make sure that I took every single class possible. I studied every course, everything on manual therapy, and I just wanted to maximize the understanding of my craft. And I took out weekends, took out personal time, talk about the expenses, but that never concerned me because I just wanted to get as good as possible. And as I got deeper and deeper into my advanced manual therapy practice, I further realized you know, again, it's not enough just the physical component of things. And nowadays, I'll have someone like a high power CEO present with some sort of neck pain. The first thing I do is understand them holistically. This is a living, breathing human being whose nervous system is absolutely
Oh, yeah.
overdriven,
Oh, yeah.
right? So, as opposed to going through my extensive toolbox of various cervical spine interventions, I'd actually sit down with them and perform a 20 to 30-minute guided meditation to
Let's go.
decrease and decompress that nervous system tension.
Let's go.
And I'd get more results with that than I would with just performing a manual therapy technique, which I feel very confident with,
100%.
right? So I guess my question with this is, as an expert, right, there becomes that pattern recognition awareness piece where we realize, is this something that I'm going to do with this particular individual? Because on any given day, I'll have the exact same injury with two different people, but it's a completely different case.
Mhm.
How do I pick that apart? Where do I start? Right? So I'll do the assessment piece, but where do I go from there?
Yeah, man, it's a great question. So, in my aspect, not being a PT and not doing so much manual therapy, what I do is more movement therapy, and I give demonstrations are kind of guided, so they have to feel it in themselves. So the conversation definitely needs to be from awareness of oneness and meditation. Now you need them, they're dormant. Now you need them to be awake.
Right.
So an activation technique, whatever activation technique they need to be awake for this therapy to actually circulate and run through their body. So that activation, people say core work, right? It's just really your central nervous system because it's out of whack. And now they're getting back online. That's what the meditation's for.
Right.
So now you want them to be activated with their mind and their body. So the central nervous system is going to be the first electrical signal to move those muscles. So you want that core, which is really your central nervous system, that needs to be activated. And then from there you can go, if you're going to go weightlifting, if you're going to go balance work, if you want to go reactive work, you can shift how you prep. But in my opinion, from a dormant state, you need to be awake. So relaxed state. You can't just go into any type of movement just like this, unless your goal is to be like jelly. If you want some type of uniformity in movement correction, you would need activation.
I really appreciate that you mentioned that there is a mind, body, and a soul,
Yes, sir.
and that spiritual realm.
Yes, sir.
Now, I guess for whatever reason, that sometimes tends to be controversial. And I mean, I'll be the first to say, like, my practice has evolved from first as a personal trainer. I worked as someone who was just building strength and helping somebody with dealing with a lack of their movement abilities and performance capabilities and when improving that. And then I got into dealing with the actual pain aspect, which is as a physical therapist, I had the expertise. But I quickly realized there's just more than the physical stuff. There's the mental health component, the emotional health, and
For sure.
and it's almost like the understanding of the psychology aspect of a human being became that much more important. And as I got further and further into the work that I'm doing, I realized there's that spiritual component as well.
100%.
And I'm not ashamed to share this, but it required me to have to do a lot more work on myself to
Yeah.
better understand the person in front of me.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the pushback that you might get when you bring up that topic? Because I've gotten a lot of pushback on that.
For sure. I mean, it just goes back to what you believe or what your limiting belief is and what your capabilities are. If you know what your capabilities are and you know who you are, then most definitely you're going to have that aspect of openness to go on this journey. So that's one of the biggest pieces I would say you would start from is just making them aware of who you really are and what your capabilities are.
Yeah.
And that will build in that discipline.
I'll tell you this, I'm very privileged to work with a lot of high achievers.
Yes, sir.
And working with high achievers really means that these are people who have a lot of financial autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
Their financial capabilities far exceed anything you've ever imagined.
Mm-hmm.
But with that sometimes comes the misconception that if I can throw enough time and money at my problems, that they'll disappear.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that's a major misconception, and
Yeah.
we both understand that
Yeah.
it's really all about diving deep into the root cause of a problem.
Yeah.
Now, how do you deal with something like that,
Yeah.
right? When you have somebody who high-powered CEO,
Yeah.
type A personality,
Yeah.
they want to get results yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? How do you go? What do you go from there? How do you go from there?
So I always start with the expectation aspect, which is in the questionnaire. You don't fill out a questionnaire, we're not training.
Right.
If I don't sit and talk with you and consult with you before I touch you, we're not training. Going through this process, this 5-step process of preparation, consultation, deep analysis and assessment, program development, and then the coaching and therapy happens. This is on purpose. This is to see if they really, really, truly want transformation and understand the process of what you have to go through to actually evolve. Most individuals that have time and money, they spend a lot of time to get this money, or they spend a lot of money to get more time.
Right.
They usually don't have the energy. And there's 3 resources that humans need. Time as a tool. It's not real, but it's a tool. Money, capital, resources, but it's your energy, it's your human resources is the most valuable. If you have all this, is the talk I have with them, you have all the money in the world, right? Tomorrow you die. What's more important? Tomorrow you're broke, or today you have all the money where you die? Oh, of course, tomorrow, yeah. Okay. So money is not the biggest resource of the three. Okay. So let's go to energy and time. Again, you got 24 hours to live.
Oh man.
So time is not the biggest resource. It's energy. You want the energy to be with your kids. You want the energy to go on a date. You want the energy to do something after work, not just plop on your couch and be lazy. The people that are the hardest workers are sometimes the laziest. I work so hard when I come home, I don't want to do nothing. You don't have any energy. You have time, you have money, but you don't have the biggest resource, which is human energy. Human resources, people work for people. The people that have the most money, you have people working for you. If they stop working for you, you got nothing. Are you in charge of your human resource energy? Are you in charge of your time? Your job takes everything, so you're not even in charge of your time. So then you can't be in charge of your money. So that's how I talk to them. And if I'm authentically like that, most of those people that have premium services, they'll understand, well, he's not trying to just take my money. I don't care about money. Your money doesn't impress me. And the time you took to get that money doesn't impress me. It's your energy. I'm looking at your energy. You're looking at my energy. What type of energy do you want? Thinking about, all right, yeah. Some people just want to be low energy. So of course you're going to pick the time or the money. This premium service is not for you. I'll refer you to somebody else. And I think that most practitioners, when I first started, I want everything because I got to build. But the more you fight against the universe, the more the universe will not give you what you are. You have to just be what you are. You can't want. If you want something, the universe is going to give you the frequency of want, want, want. So you're always wanting. The people that want stuff never get it. The people that are stuff, they got it.
Love that. That resonates so much with my philosophy on how I approach potential clients as well. And I'll tell you this, when I first started my practice, that's pretty much that was my mindset. Let me just get as many people as
Sure.
possible to fill up my schedule.
Sure.
And as amazing as that was, it became a challenge because I didn't bring in the ideal candidates for the work that I do. And now it's much more of a selective process where that questionnaire, that initial assessment, beyond the physical stuff that people are coming in for,
Sure.
I have to understand your mindset.
Mhm.
Mindset is everything. If you're coming in extremely negative, you're negative Nancy, you think the entire world is out to get you, chances are, as excellent as my service is, it's probably not going to do you any
Oh
good
no.
anyways.
Energy vampires.
Yeah, absolutely. They are real.
Energy
They're
vampires.
very real.
Say it again. Energy vampires. You must have a bubble around yourself of high energy if you're going to touch someone to try and
Right.
heal them, because you will absorb their
Absolutely.
energy. This is the way of the world, the polarity. You have high energy and low energy. That is it. If you are low energy, and you're always low energy, I must go to low energy to communicate with you. Because if I'm like this, and you're like this, we're not going to communicate. So I must take my energy, turn you into a high energy person. That's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So
And
we need to come when they come in, hey, what's your energy levels? First
Yep.
thing I say, what's your energy levels? How's your spirit? Oh yeah, here we go. If you say your energy levels are super low and your spirit is gone, we're going to have a smoothie. We're
Yeah.
not having a session.
Yeah.
And standing on that is very difficult at first when you're building. But now, like you said, premium services, you're a referral guy, right? People get referred to you because you're a specialist that has earned that right for individuals to come to you. And that is you're living in your authentic truth as a professional. And that's why I would love to have this conversation with you, man.
And after a while, you don't feel ashamed to have to turn someone down because you're actually helping them out, because then they're not wasting their time.
100%.
I'm not wasting my time.
100%.
During that time, I can actually help somebody, even if it's for free.
Yeah.
I can actually make a change in someone's life because they're open and they're receptive.
Sure.
And that's a topic that I'd like to touch up on in a few, but I want to get back to the piece of energy,
Yeah.
right? Let's say you have all the time in the world,
Mhm.
all the money, all the energy, and you throw it all at the right resources.
Yeah.
Does that define health? How do you even define health? Because you can put 5 different healthcare professionals sitting right in front of us, and each of them will have a different definition. Is it based on the metrics that your Fitbit or your Aura Ring, right? Or your
Interesting.
Whoop?
Interesting.
Is that defining health? Is
Interesting.
it based on the objective measures on I was able to lift 135 pounds last week and now I'm doing 145. Now I'm a healthier human being. Or I get
Interesting.
to sleep 7 to 8 hours every night and now I'm a healthier human being. What is health?
I love that question. It brings you back to the same uh, answer or same solution, where it's we have to classify when you say health. Okay, are we all in the healthcare industry? Are we in the wellness industry? Are we in the fitness industry? Are we in the lifestyle industry? There's many industries that you can be in. So health is very ambiguous in its terminology. We need to be more specific about what we're talking about. So I'm in the wellness industry, okay? As what I do is a wellness management expert. I have a wellness management company that helps manage energy, time, and resources. So in that aspect, we talk about vitality and wellness because that's less ambiguous. Because people can say, okay, wellness, what's the definition of wellness? All right, that's spiritual. Just look it up. That's health, that's social. They have 7 points of what wellness is. Then I say, what is the optimal aspect of that? And that's what I believe vitality is. So now we have to say is, what level of wellness are you in? Are you in a dormant phase? Are you in an awakening phase? Are you in an aligned and activated phase? Are you in an elevated phase? Or are you in a sovereign phase? So these are the 5 phases I believe that we can get into when we're talking about driving from wellness to vitality. Health is just absent of disease. That's what the definition of health is, especially in the West. So you don't have a disease, but there's a full spectrum of your well-being. So having a category for that, then you can say, what level of wellness are you? Are you the sovereign human being, meaning you are in control of what you're doing, your health, your energy, your sleep? You can control all of it. So it's really, do you believe you can control all of this? We believe that's sovereignty. Or are you in a dormant state? And you can kind of categorize yourself where you are. I look at it like that.
That almost reminds me of the definition of a life coach,
Yeah.
right? Because we're here to do the work that we're assigned that we're going to be doing
Yeah.
for the particular client that's coming in to see us. Yeah, I want to get stronger. I want to
Yeah.
improve my bench press.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you want to improve your bench press? Here's a program for you. Here's what you're going to do. Oh, wait, you're also sleeping a certain amount of hours. We're going to have to improve that. Oh, wait, you're eating a certain type of diet. This is what your nutrition looks like. All right, we're going to have to do this. It's almost like you now begin to manage the entire person's existence in order for them to reach that one little goal that they're coming in for. And then you find that just by doing that, you're now improving other areas of their life.
100%.
So what is considered too much? What's considered too little? What does it mean to be a good trainer or a good therapist?
I mean, I think all of these definitions we need to have a standard in the industry that I'm in wellness, and I believe we do. Like defining things are extremely important. If you go to my website, you can see I have a wellness glossary. So I just have terms of what is a protein, what is a carb, what is a bench press, what is hypertrophy, what is cold therapy, what is so just having defined so people are aware. So awareness, we go back to that awareness thing. Now, once you're aware, now we have to understand that you are managing 11 systems in your body: your circulatory system, your immune system, your musculoskeletal system, your nervous system. So all these systems you have to manage. So you're a manager. We're a steward of your body. So if you have someone else that's a team that's helping you, some people might need that. Now, if you got it down, your health is good, your sleep is good, you're completely aligned with the universe. But most people aren't like that. So we have to meet them where they are. So you might know how to work out, but your nutrition is down to the tubes. This is a multiplicative formula when I'm talking about those 5 pillars. If you're eating good and you're sleeping good and your mindset is good, but you're not exercising, this is going to be a fractal negative result. So having a management team or someone to manage all those 5 pillars, at least, this is my future that I see in those that are going to be well.
Yep.
Down the line. Personal training is not going to be where it's at. And I was a personal trainer for 10 years, right? Performance coaching is not just going to where it's at. And I was a performance coach for 10 years. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've been a nutritionist. That's what I went to college for, right? Was nutrition and exercise physiology. So I've been in those realms. I know that there has to be more to that formula. And I'm starting with this formula of vitality, which takes those 5 pillars that we all believe. If you can manage at least those, in my experience with clients, this is how someone can transform.
It almost sounds like as your clients get better, you get better,
100%.
right? There's an evolution that's taking place within you as well.
100%.
And I could say that that's definitely happened within me. And I'll also share this. My understanding of what does it mean to be a good physical therapist or a good personal trainer or a
Mhm.
good coach.
Mhm.
You know, you can be the best at what you do, but it really comes down to your ability to empathize with the human being that's coming to you, the person that's right in front of you,
Mhm.
right? Because you can have an amazing surgeon, an amazing doctor.
Sure.
They can have a terrible bedside manner, and we know where that
Oh,
goes,
yeah.
right? So I feel like there's some sort of overlap at that point within these professions, right? Because we set up boundaries within professions.
Mhm.
My scope of practice in physical therapy says that I'm able to do so and so. I'm allowed to use certain types of medical tools.
Mhm.
How effective are those medical tools if I don't know how to articulate that to the person in front of me?
Mhm.
You know, where do you find that our professions overlap, and where do our philosophies kind of come together?
I look at it this great question, first of all. I look at it as, are you a healer? So those that are healers and those that are just doers. People can be the best at doing a thing,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean it's healing.
Right.
So you must continue to see that person. For me, my job is to make sure that you can heal yourself so you do not need me. If you want me and want my service, my family is going to like that. My business is going to like that. But I'm not here for your money. I'm here for transformation. So whatever is going to heal you, if we look at it in that realm, it's going to be much easier to articulate healing. If you just say healing, just say the word healing to people that are in trauma, the people that are injured, the people that are suffering, healing. And I say natural healing, right? That just means with nature, right? Things that are found in nature, natural healing. Your hands are natural. Someone massaging your deep tissue. This is natural. Movement, natural. Exercise, natural. Singing, dancing. These are all healing things. So if we box ourselves in and limit ourselves into a belief system, which I don't have a belief system, I've gotten rid of just about all of them, just about all of them, right? I do believe we're having this conversation. I do believe that.
That's good.
But other than that, if I'm locked into a certain belief, I'm not going to explore other dimensions of
Yeah.
healing.
Yeah.
So I'll look into the Islamic faith because they have some of the best history of scientists and healers. I can look into the Jewish faith because they have some of the best medical staff in field. I can look into the ancient Chinese medicine and esoteric healing of Egyptians because they have some of the best healing. So I'm not going to limit myself to a certain belief, whether it's politics, whether it's religion, whether it's medical, whether it's science, because that's a religion. I'm going to open my eyes to all dimensions. So I say the human being is a multi-dimensional being. We say it all the time: mind, body, soul. So at least you believe we have 3 dimensions in us. Most say 9 or even more. Some of the quantum physicists that say we believe we might be in even infinite dimensions and infinite universes. So if we're thinking quantum, we want to be able to heal quantum and then start to have that conversation of real healing, natural, not taking drugs. If that's what you want to do, no problem. Not taking pills and shots. If that's what you want to do, no problem. We can meet you where you are. But that's not healing. So if we define and where we overlap is you believe in healing. I've seen your work. I've seen your transformations. I believe in healing. So if we conversate with healing, I think we can talk to everyone. And that's the overlap is healing. People are done with mainstream things. The food that we're being fed, we know is trash.
Yeah.
The politics that we know we're fed is trash. I'm not going to say anything about religion because people will just come at me. But
Right.
is it serving us where I'm going to kill you because you're of a certain religion? You're going to kill me because I'm a certain religion.
and we can all say that that is not going to project human beings in a good future to where I can drop bombs on you and you can drop bombs on me. I can come rape you and enslave you. There's still slavery. So are we happy with society? One, then are you happy with your community? Two, then are you happy with yourself? And if individuals are happy with themselves, then those happy selves make happy communities. And those happy communities make happy societies. And those individuals will never war. This is what the Atlanteans, whether you believe that folklore or not. This is what the Sumerians, whether you believe that folklore or not. This is what the Egyptians, you can still see their monuments to this day. So they must have flourished for a long time. Why is their stuff still here? So all of these ancient civilizations have found that connectivity as human beings, and then something disrupted it.
You know, it almost sounds like you're saying if you want to help the world, you got to start with yourself. Could that be it?
Well, MJ said it starts with a man in the mirror. I'm talking about the man in the mirror. Listen, I believe that everything starts with the individual. That's why my philosophy is self-sovereignty.
Right.
Every individual should have the capacity and the knowledge to know what your capacity is and then live to that capacity on your own. Once you become an independent, sovereign individual, then we become interdependent or codependent, meaning I'm an independent person, you're an independent person. You don't need me to validate you. You don't need me to give you gifts. I don't need you to shower me with blessings all the time and put rose petals at my feet. And I'm not going to do that for you. But we can collaborate like we're doing. I believe that the world is moving into, this is the civilization, this is my theory. The creative, what we're doing is we're creating all around the world. Who doesn't have a podcast? Who doesn't stream? Who's not on Instagram? Whether you like it or not, whether you think it's devil or not, we are in a creative culture that is collaborating. So I call it the creative collaborative culture that we're going into. And if individuals heal themselves, heal their communities, heal society. I know this sounds like kumbaya, but this is what societies that have been around for thousands of years have done. Their demise is what we're currently going through, where the standards of living, the standards of communicating, the standards of human existence is not that great. It's not that great. So, do we like it? Are we upset? Sure. Are you just going to protest? Or are you going to take action? So, I believe it comes from awareness. That's my mission.
No.
To engagement, what we're doing, and then to action. So, I believe in action. What can humans do to take action to make a change in themselves, then their communities, then society? I guess that's a question that I want to put out to everyone that's watching this, and to you as well, and to me as well. That's something that we need to answer. And I believe that's really my only real belief is that aspect of being aware that this is happening, right? Not putting your head in the sand.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not my business. Okay. If you're okay with it happening to somebody, then it can happen to you, because others will also be okay with it happening to you. Golden rule. I tell my son, he's 5 years old now. What's the golden rule? Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. So that's how I live my life. I'm not going to do anything to you that I wouldn't want you to do to me. Now, if you do something to me, I'm not trying to start any problems. But if you say you have a problem, I say no problem. No problem. You should definitely make sure you're a warrior in a garden than a gardener at war. I don't know who said this. I've heard it somewhere, and I just love that quote. Okay, so whoever heard that, give props to whoever it was. It wasn't me, okay? But I've heard this before. So optimize yourself. Oh yeah, I'm just chilling. You work out too hard. You're too strict on this. Oh, no problem. Because when a problem comes, I'm going to say, no problem. Whatever virus, whatever war, whatever strife, whatever it is, I'm prepared. Now, humans, are you going to also prepare yourself in that manner? If you are, we're going to be ready for the next stage of civilization. You'll be able to have energy to create. You'll have the trust factor to collaborate with individuals. and then you'll be able to stay in the civilization.
I guess if you look at the macro aspect of society, which is most people are really just focused on their 9 to 5.
100.
They work to live, they pay their bills, their paycheck to paycheck, and sometimes uh, we don't have the luxury to even to entertain this type of thought process.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, and
Yeah.
I resonate with that deeply.
Yeah.
But I guess having that conversation is just sometimes it's almost impossible because there's so many other more important things for your survival happening at that very moment.
Now that word right there, survival. I believe, okay, this still comes from the same belief, sovereignty, that we're not here to just be in survival mode. We should be, in my opinion, be in thriving mode.
Right.
This is why I make the delineation. When people say, I'm surviving, I'm just getting by. This voice, let there be light. You can put whatever connotation you want to it. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. It's the vibration that was first. So we're using our voice. And whatever you say to yourself, I'm fat, I'm skinny, I'm this, I can't do it, I can't. I don't say those things. Even right now, universe, hey, I'm saying this only for a podcast. I didn't say I can't. I can do anything. You have to be careful about those words. And there's 7 laws. Some people call it the 7 Hermetic laws, right? The Ma'at, or the Bible, even comes from those laws. And it starts with mentalism. That's law number 1. This universe is mental. And people have some mental issues. I do. Everyone does. It's mental. Second law, correspondence. Can we correspond? As within, so without. As above, so below. As we think, we will project out. Third law, vibration. This is my favorite. This is what I was put on this planet. My purpose is to vibrate, to communicate. Maybe I got that from my dad. He's a preacher. He's a teacher. But I know this is how I can project. Fourth, this is the 4th chakra, or the 4th dimension, also known as the 4th law. This is harmony, how you harmonize. We harmonized our schedule today, met at a facility, got into an Uber. We harmonized with this great team that's recording us right now. That's how you get things done. You have to harmonize. Doesn't matter what frequency you have or vibration you have. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. You have to harmonize. 5th chakra, 5th dimension, 5th law, 5th Hermetic principle. It's been redid and remixed, is cause and effect. Cause and effect. I say something, you can either listen or get out of this room, walk out. I don't agree with what you say. You could click this and turn it off. There's a cause and effect. 6th law, polarity. The whole universe runs off of this. Everything is polarity. Me, you, him, her, yin, yang, male, female, this, that, gone, come. Everything is polarity. The only way we generate anything in this universe is through polarity. Polarity, Al, isn't that going to bring people apart? No, that's what keeps people together. You've heard this, opposites attract. The 7th law, the 7th principle, I keep on saying these terms because people might know that as something. It's not me. This is esoteric knowledge. So the Hermetic principles, the Greeks, they said that's that. The Egyptians, the Anush, the Anunnaki, they say the 7 laws. Okay. So 7 is the root chakra. All right. This is gender. Now, this is a bit controversial.
Yeah.
This is gender. But those 7 principles and 7 laws, everything, including the sun, the moon, the stars, have to go through that. This is why it's called the solar system, because there are souls. So if individuals understand how this matrix works, how this universe works, okay, it works through those principles. So all my efforts, everything I talk through, I make sure that we understand. That goes back to that other question we asked, where do we harmonize? If we understand that we're all part of this universe and we all have to abide by those laws of mentalism, of correspondence, of vibration, of harmonization, of cause and effect, of polarities, opposites are tracked. Doesn't mean that we need to be war at each other. That's how things move forward. Opposition. And then generation. We must generate. If we don't generate, we don't have another civilization. And that's why I say it's kind of controversial. Well, I don't want to generate. No problem. But everything has to generate. If the sun doesn't generate energy, what happens? What happens to us? If the earth doesn't generate energy, water, minerals, what happens to us?
Yeah.
Everything has to generate, or else we stop life. So, as controversial as these things are, this is a law. I didn't make it up. Whoever made this matrix, or whatever made this matrix, I think it's a what, not a who. The hubris we have that a human being or something of a human connotation, he, she, whatever it is, you have to follow these laws. So that's my belief. I know I went on a kind of a tailspin, but when I'm thinking about the aspect of what we're supposed to do on this earth as human beings, 100% is to express, but we have to go through those laws. And if we abide by correspondence and cause and effect and responsibility, people call the fifth law sometimes the law of responsibility. But you have to be responsible of what you cause. There's going to be an effect. If I hit you, I'm going to expect you to just sit there and take it. There's going to be an effect. You might run away, you might fight me, or you might freeze. Fight, flight, or freeze. That's mostly usually the actions that people take. So that's kind of my spiel on the expression of human beings and where we are.
Just with all that, obviously this isn't, I mean, I really respect and admire your passion for this. And it's clear to me that we both overlap in some of the readings that we do and some of the speakers we listen to. And we talk about this all the time behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, yes, sir.
I guess, another question with this is one doesn't just find themselves with information and knowledge like this, right?
Facts.
Like and I understand you mentioned that your father was a pastor.
Mhm.
Were there any particular experiences in your life that led you down this path,
Yeah.
or were you just born this way?
No. I was a skinny little kid from African descent. I'm from Ghana, from West Africa. Great family, so no real trauma in the upbringing. But I was not an action guy. I was a thinker. I've always been a thinker. And like I said, you can't really project anything in life unless you take action. So for me, starting as not an action guy, right? Being in the back of the class, I wouldn't ask questions, not really talking, not amplifying my voice. And I know that this is what we need to do, is we need to amplify our voice and to take action. So having that aspect, that's my journey of playing sports in high school, playing sports in college, trying out for professional teams, being an awesome personal trainer from what people say I was to the accolades that people gave me throughout this country, being an awesome coach to same thing. People are giving me the accolades of my education at Florida State or exercise physiology. I can say all those things. That doesn't really mean that to me. It's just, it's all brought me to this point. Every piece of education, every workbook, every certification that I've gotten, every experience that I've had has brought me to this place. And you see it, right? You're showing me all of your experiences in your life right now, from your well-manicured hair to your well-manicured beard to your sharp attire that you're wearing to that great watch you have on your wrist. These are all accolades, achievements, armor that you have put onto yourself. And that's what we do as humans. You're expressing yourself as I see. I don't need your business card. I see your business.
I love that.
I don't need to know you're a doctor, a lawyer, whatever. I feel your energy. And if we start taking away all of those classifications that are limiting beliefs, I'm a doctor. Really? That's all you want? Just a, really? No problem. It's okay. This might be your first time going through this, but we're just reincarnated in the spirit. So we've been here forever.
Oh, listen, we're here to continuously evolve and progress and get to our purpose and really find and understand what are some of the questions we need to ask and how do we find those answers.
100%.
I mean, look, we covered a lot of ground,
Yeah.
and if we had a couple more hours, I'm pretty sure
We'd
there'd
do
be
it.
so much more to talk about. If there's one thing that you'd want the listeners to take away from some of the things that we talked about today,
Right.
what would it be?
Know thyself. Once you know yourself, then you can understand your capabilities. Once you know what you're capable of, then you will have the desire, the discipline to achieve what you're capable of. And I think if we move through the world with that aspect of knowing thyself, find your capability, and having the desire and discipline to do so, we can achieve anything you want. But you can become what you desire.
Yeah, some of this information has just been so incredible. And I mean, I have more questions today than I did before coming in here with you. Um, where can people find you? You know, how can they reach out to you and maybe ask you some questions or maybe do some work with you? Do you have any social media or website that you can share?
Yeah, three things. I love three. So there goes those numbers again. So my website will be the main place, the main hub that I have most of my courses, most of my programs, shops, things that you want to partake in the ecosystem. My company is called Peak Vitality Solutions. I'm the co-founder. And you can find us at peakvitalitysolutions.com. Also on Instagram, that's the second thing we use, which is you can find me at Peak Vitality Solutions on Instagram. And you can also find us through YouTube. Our YouTube channel is the Vitality Network. And we have the Vitality Handbook, the Vitality Advisor, and Transformational Journey are the channels that you can find us on. But you can interact with us by just coming and stopping by and saying hi digitally, subscribe to something, check out one of our courses, or just learn more information of how you can be more aware human being. I believe that we have a choice and a responsibility every single day to heal ourselves. And I wish, hope, desire, and understand that if you do choose to heal, you will transform.
Now, I know you also said that you had an app coming out.
Yes, we do have an app. It's called the Vitality app. This app is out. Well, it's coming out, and that will be a hub to where we would manage these services. So our YouTube channel will be on that. You have access to our services, our products. I have a book that just came out in March called Eat Right for Your Body Type. It's a nutritional guidebook. I have another book, which is called the Recovery Human Protocol, which comes out the end of summer. Yeah, so there's a lot of information that you guys can look me up on and join the community of the Vitality community. Let's all start preaching that aspect because we want humans to optimize, and that's my mission.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's been a pleasure, my man. Thank you so much. I look forward to doing another one like this.
Yes, sir. More. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Peace.